When someone goes to prison in Florida, the state promises two things: custody and care. But what happens when the person at the very top, the man appointed to run the entire prison system, is on the take? Meet James V. Crosby, Jr. In 2006, Crosby was the secretary of the Florida Department of Corrections. Not a guard, not a warden, the secretary. The man appointed by Governor Jeb Bush to oversee every prison, every inmate, and every correctional officer in the state of Florida. He was the top of the food chain, and he was corrupt. Crosby, along with his protege Alan Wayne Clark, engineered a scheme that funneled more than $130,000 in kickbacks from a prison canteen contractor. The contractor, American Institutional Services, was run by a man named, well, Eddie Duggar. In exchange for the money, Crosby and Clark made sure that Duggar's company got fast-tracked as a vendor for visitor canteen services at Florida prisons. Think about what that means. Every time a family member came to visit their loved one behind bars and bought a snack from a vending machine, a cut of that money was going into the pockets of the man running the prison system. The secretary wasn't serving the public. He was serving the public. He was serving himself. This wasn't a guard smuggling a phone through the back door. This was the boss, the man who set the tone for every employee beneath him, the man who was supposed to be the example, and he was selling access. In July of 2006, both Crosby and Clark pleaded guilty. Crosby was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. He was released in January of 2015. 8 years. For the man who ran the third largest prison system in the United States. Now let's put this in context. When a guard gets caught smuggling contraband, they throw the book at them. When a trainee gets caught having a relationship with an inmate, they lose everything. When a sergeant brings a loaded Glock and a homemade knife into a parking lot, they go to jail. But when the Secretary of the Department of Corrections takes $130,000 in bribes, he gets 8 years and walks out in 2015. Two other men connected to the scheme, Edward Duggar and William Bill Deese, were also sentenced in 2012. Duggar got 18 months. Deese got 4 years. This remains the biggest corruption scandal in the history of the Florida Department of Corrections. And it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a lapse in judgment. It was a sustained, deliberate scheme to enrich themselves at the expense of inmates, their families, and the taxpayers of Florida. The canteen money, the money families spent to buy a bag of chips or a soda during visitation, was supposed to go toward inmate welfare, toward programs, toward making a time inside a little more humane. Instead, it went into James Crosby's pocket. This is the system, not the broken guard, not the rogue officer. The system. The man at the top, setting the example, showing everyone beneath him that the rules don't apply when there's money on the table, and we wonder why the culture is broken. When you build a system where the people in charge are profiting off the people in their care, you don't have justice. You have a business. And in Florida, business was very good for James V. Crosby.